Hey everyone, it's Ann Carden here, and I'm a business and marketing consultant for contracting businesses and small businesses. And I want to talk to you today about how to make smarter decisions if you're looking to hire people to bring onto your team. For a lot of small business owners, they end up in trouble because they overextend themselves on payroll and they make decisions based on what's happening in their company right at the moment versus looking at their long term vision and making decisions based on what might happen in the future. So, this is really what I want to talk to you about. First of all, before you decide to hire someone, you have to think long term and think, does this align with my vision? Is this going to help us get where we want to go? That's first. Second, have I looked at the numbers? Have I looked at the facts? And that's really what I want to show you today. So we're going to use an example of one of my current clients, actually, who is a plumbing company, and they were in growth and scale mode, but a lot of things were falling through the cracks. They weren't as profitable as they wanted to be. And so we had to go in and we really had to take a hard look at this. And payroll was one of those areas where they were really overextended. So one of the things that people do when they're thinking about hiring help is they're like, okay, how much is this person going to cost me, right? And do I have the cash flow? Do I have the money? And this is not the best way to make that type of a decision for your company. Because what happens when your company slows down? Maybe you have all this business coming in right now and you're like, we need to hire. And you make those decisions and you hire people, but then things slow down. Or maybe you go through a cycle where it's a slower time of the year and you are still left with all of this payroll. And unless you're going to let people go or you're going to lay people off, which I don't think is a great practice in a business, then you have to really think about these things longer term. So let me show you what I mean. Let's say, for example, this company, they wanted to add a plumber, okay? And we worked out the numbers that to add a plumber is $132,000 to their business. Let me adjust this just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better here, okay? And you might be saying, what? Plumbers don't get paid $132,000. Well, you're right, but there's more to it than just wages, and this is what I want to show you. So first of all, you've got to look at all the different things that have to go into what it really is going to cost you to bring in that employee. So you've got wages, okay? You've got, let me adjust here a little bit. You've got insurance. You've got workman's comp insurance, right? You've got taxes. In this case, they pay benefits. And then let's go even deeper because this person's going to have a vehicle. And so what are the vehicle expenses? What's the maintenance and the insurance and the gas, okay? And in this case, they have GPS. I can still adjust this a little bit. There we go, I think that's better. They have GPS that costs them a monthly fee. They have software that they pay per person. So now they've added more money in their monthly expenses for the software that the plumber would be using. They also have an iPad that they have to have. So they're going to have not only the cost of adding the iPad, but they're going to have the cost of the monthly fees for the iPad. And how about a cell phone? Okay, so again, they're going to have the cost of the cell phone. They're also going to have the monthly fees for the cell phone. Is this all making sense? And you have to look at all of these things. They're also going to have extra inventory now to outfit the vehicle. And so you have to look at that too. And so by the time the smoke clears, this is how much it costs them to bring in a new plumber, okay? Now, a lot of people would say, okay, so I need to make $132,000 to cover the cost of this plumber. But that's actually incorrect. And let me show you why. Because when you make $132,000 in your business, it's not all yours to keep, okay? You only get the profit. The profit is what has to cover the cost of the plumber. So in this case, if you want to know how to figure the break even, for this plumber to be worth their pay, they have to break even at least, right? So they're not an expense to your company. And break even is figured by looking at the expenses divided by the gross profit margin. So in this case, $132,000 is the expense. And let's just use a 40% gross profit margin. A lot of companies don't even get this. I try to get my clients between 45 and 55% gross profit margin if we can, or even higher. But let's just use a 40% for today. If we divide this out, that's $330,000. So this is the break even to bring in a plumber. So if the business is not turning away $330,000 in business, this is probably not a good decision, right? Now, you don't want your plumber just to break even. You don't want your employee to just break even. You want them to bring you money. You want them to be a valuable asset to your company. That's the purpose, right? So they make your company money. So in this case, you're not even going to start making money until they actually bring in $330,000. And then anything over $330,000 is where you start making money and putting money in your pocket. Making sense? So I hope this is helpful to help you make better decisions when you're hiring. And if you've never looked at the numbers before, you're probably in for a real awakening when you start looking at these more clearly and in more detail. So figure out, what does it cost you to bring an employee, and then are you bringing in that type of business, and are you doing it consistently? Like, can you count on that kind of business coming in for a year? And again, don't look at just break even. There's no point in bringing someone in and having a whole nother person if you're only going to break even. What's the point of that, right? You could turn away the business and be even and keep your money instead of having all the stress and the headache and everything of having to cover this employee. Now, if you are in a situation where you can't afford to bring someone on, by the time you break this down, look at some alternative ways to still get the business, to still be able to get the business done, such as subcontractors. Maybe you can look at internships. Maybe you can look at temp help. So there are other things you can do to still hopefully get the work done and maybe get that revenue. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. And this is why companies get themselves in trouble. They get overextended on their payroll. So I hope this is really helpful for you. Please leave me some feedback. Let me know this was helpful. I want to put more of this type of video help out for you, some more trainings for you, but I need to know that it's helpful for you. So let me know if I can be of help. I'll leave my link below. And if you need help in your contracting business or your small business and you would like to schedule a call to discuss how we might be able to do that, then I would love to talk to you. I'm Ann Carden. You have an amazing day. Bye-bye.